mosquito bit me. I lied, there are still mosquitoes. Ah! Don't scratch, it just makes it worse. Live in my body then. What? Yeah, I mean, like I know what I'm doing. You are spare scrap.
Excuse you, I have a name.
Whoa! Are we ready to start another project? I know I am. I have no idea what I want to do though, so we'll figure that out. I'm not really sure what to do, but we can check our to-do list. Huh. Hey buddy, it's been a while. I don't really have any vehicles that are practical in the sense of the hobby I have, the things I do, picking up lumber or getting stuff for gardening or whatnot. In fact, I have a convertible smart car. And while it does have more practicality than most people think, there's still a lot I can't do with it. I had the ever so brilliant idea of why not just build a utility bed insert for it? It needs to be light enough that I can, on my own, get it in and out of the vehicle. I also don't want it to be overly complex. It does not need to be super fancy. It needs to be utilitarian and just work. So I'm thinking just very simple hinges, latches to keep a possible tailgate closed, and I think my car has some threaded inserts in the back that would normally hold like a little strap down hooks. I think I can use those to anchor the box inside the vehicle so it doesn't slide or shift around as I'm driving around going over bumps or whatnot. I do still have to go get some materials to actually put this project together, so we're gonna do that, and once we get back, we'll go ahead and get started.
Soon after.
All right, we've picked up our lumber. It's time to double check that the measurements we have for the inside of the Smart for the utility bed conversion are accurate, because once these cuts are made, I cannot uncut the wood. Look at that jelly bean of a car. Kind of looks like a weird popsicle. And that's like a little stick. It's the tailgate, I promise. This is Nugget. There's not much to it. It's what it is.
Hi, Nugget.
Let's get started with our measure. Oh, you need a bath. Oh, wow. Something very nifty about these is that even though they don't have a lot of space, oh my gosh, you can lay the passenger seat flat to give yourself more cargo room to put things in here, like something long. I'd already marked off the most constrictive areas in the trunk area that we'll have to build around, and I'm going to double check my measurements because measure twice, still cut 3 times, because I'm going to make mistakes. It's what I do. But imagine how many mistakes I would make if I only measured once. People would die. So yeah, 36 is going to be within what I can do, and I already have that written down. It's approximately 43 inches, and I know that I want this to stick out a little bit further. So 7 inches off of the rear of the tailgate. All right. The box bed that we're going to be building for in here, on the portion of it that is behind the driver's seat, is only going to be 50 inches long, but for the driver's side or the passenger side with the seat down, that will have total length of about 7 feet. and that'll just allow me to put some longer boards in here or any other longer items that I may be trying to transport, to make sure that I'm not bumping into my armrest and also not hitting the constraint of the entryway to the cargo compartment. I can make this comfortably 18 inches wide. And then height-wise, we already know that the max height we can make it is 11 inches, and that's because I do not want to interfere with the trunk latches, or sorry, the tailgate latches. So yeah. You ready to go back in? You won't want to hang out here still?
Oh. Bye-bye.
To make the utility bed, I am using what may be somewhat questionable, but I had my local lumber supplier had some Western tongue and groove cedar on sale for half off, and I really liked the grain pattern. And also, I need this to be light enough that I, on my own, can easily put it in the vehicle and take it back out. This entire lot of cedar will make up all of the walls and the tailgate. I can carry this by myself quite easily. I don't think I'll be able to get away with not using any plywood. The base that this will be sitting on, I can get away with using a thinner sheet of plywood to reduce weight. I don't need a full 3/4, and it's not going to be experiencing a lot of wear and tear anyway. I do have an exterior finish that was originally going to be used for a fence project that is tinted. So on some of the scraps, I'm going to test to see if it looks good, and if so, then that's what I'll be finishing it in. Let's make some panels. That's a panel, if I do say so. Alright, got all the panels cut up. I'm going to trim off of the top of each panel just the thickness of the plywood that we're going to be using as the base, just so that I don't exceed the height that I can build this at for it to fit in the car properly. Once we have all those trimmed down, I'm going to trim up some 2x2s and start attaching them in places that I know they're going to go, because they're going to be what hold all the panels together to the other panels.
You know?
Notice something?
Oh.
It's a little short. But we have leftover material. I was hoping to avoid having to do this, but I guess I'm just gonna have to sister in a piece. One day I'd like to not make that kind of mistake. It's recoverable. Well, since I have to wait for some glue to dry, figure now is a good chance to test whether or not I want to sand any of the surfaces that the stain is being applied to, or just completely leave it. So this is like an outdoor deck stain with the scrap material. We're going to sand part of it, leave the rest of it, put the stain on, and see what happens. Sanded and unsanded. I don't know how well this is going to come through on the camera, but I think that the unsanded side looks better. There's a little bit of not quite blotchiness where we sanded, but just the coverage doesn't seem like it's soaked in as evenly. And on the side that's unsanded, I do like how the little ridges in the grain are emphasized. It gives it a nice little bit of visual texture. So I think we're just going to leave it unsanded and apply the stain. Just throwing together a quick jig so that I can make sure that all the holes I drill through the end cap panels, and then I'll just make a different one for the side panels, but just ensuring that I'm able to get all of the bolts centered on the support, also being able to put these in here, drill through, and these holes will match up perfectly with what we put on the panel. So that it's just one less thing we have to fool around with. Because I'm just going to tighten this down until they're just starting to pull the carriage bolts into the board itself. I don't want it splintering them too badly. So far it looks right. So that's good. It's going to be a little bit out of square until we get this on the base.
Mm-hmm.
But that's okay. Because at the end of the day, all I really care about is I put the holes in the right spots. Look at that. Almost.
It's like a coffin for a Tetris piece.
Oh man. The yellow block and a square. They're being buried together. They were lovers.
How romantic.
Originally, I was going to try to have this up on my bench top because I know my bench top is flat and use that to attach the bottom support rails. But that just felt like it was an accident waiting to happen, having it up on the tables, and it's a weird shape and everything. So what I did is I just took these 1x2 strips of pine and laid them across the floor, and each spot where I'm putting a carriage bolt through, I'm just going to make sure that the bottom of the box and the support rail are both resting on that stick, and then I'm going to clamp them and then put the carriage bolt in that spot, doing that in each individual spot as I go, which should make sure that they're all flush, or all the rails are flush with the bottom of the box. And then if I feel like I need to put in any more support, I can add a couple screws because I am running out of carriage bolts and I'm not going to go back to the store for more. This could also be a camping insert. If I were to ever just go solo camping with the Smart. Yeah, see? Look at that. I fit. This is perfect. I can, yeah. Well, look at that. It's an insert. And I mean, I can kind of pick it up on my own. Yeah, I can pick it up on my own. That's not awful. The plywood added a lot of weight, but that's why I wanted to minimize the use of plywood where I could with this, because otherwise it would be significantly heavier. And they actually do a pretty good job of just tucking out of the way and not causing any problems. I can load my bed from my smart truck, my smuck. All right, real quick, rough cubic footage on the inside. All right, so we have 5. Just the bed interior is a whole 13.1 cubic feet. 13 cubic feet is still way more than the car would normally have. So, but yeah, excellent. Now the latches. We're almost there.
1 week later.
I think we're gonna need something a little more practical. Let's get in the nugget. My car's never smelled so Italian in my life. What? Oh. I'm glad they got to experience some top-down fun before being grounded, being in their new home. So, this is definitely rather silly. I am very aware of that, but I have actually used this very vehicle to pick up lumber before and do some other things with it, and it works. But having a dedicated bed insert where I can throw boards in and not worry about dinging up my seats or whatnot, or if I need to grab bags of dirt for upcoming garden projects and whatnot, I can do that now, and I don't care if this gets dirty on the inside. And it's just kind of cool to be able to make the car a little bit more practical. The tailgate opens very nicely, it closes quite nice, it clips shut. I can do 8-foot long boards, even a little bit longer, and quite possibly the most important feature, I can still put the convertible top down with this in. Well, thank you for coming along on this little journey to make my smart a little bit more practical. It was a blast, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you'd like to see more of this content and more silly projects, please make sure to subscribe and stick around. Drop a comment, and yeah, thank you again so much for watching. Bye-bye!